Hey everyone, can you guys hear me? Hey Mike, how you doing? So I'm currently up in Portland right now. I'm at a friend's house hanging out, and I finally have some reliable Wi-Fi. Wanted to jump on here and do kind of a Q&A style thing where I've actually gotten some pretty cool questions in the last couple weeks. So I wanted to address those and see if you guys had anything you wanted to ask me about my travels or... Hey Bob, how you doing? Cool. Quite a few people on here. That's pretty neat. So this is kind of new for me. I've done a couple live streams with Patreon, but yeah, this is a little new for me. I'm used to being able to edit my videos pretty heavily. Okay. Miles per gallon on the GS. I'm getting right around 45, 50 miles per gallon, depending on how hard I'm twisting the throttle. Tom, thank you. I appreciate that. Glad you're enjoying my videos. Dave, yes, I am definitely living the dream. Certainly my dream, at least. It's pretty wild. Got a question about how my tent is holding up. My Kelty TN2, it's awesome. I've had that tent for about 4 years, and it doesn't leak. All the zippers are still great. Everything's awesome with that tent. Hi, Howard. How are you? Mark asking me about Central or South America. Yes. Funny enough, this whole thing, this whole idea, 40 times around, started because I wanted to ride my motorcycle to Tierra del Fuego, the southern tip of South America. But it just kind of turned into, well, if I'm going to do that, I want to find a way to just keep traveling. So yes, Central and South America definitely on the list. I'm hoping for next year. Michael, hi, in San Diego. I love San Diego. I used to live there. Lived in North Park for a while. Beautiful, beautiful place. Well, not North Park, but San Diego. You manage to keep devices charged while traveling? That's a great question. So basically, I have one power bank that I can charge things when I'm at camp, and that is typically, I'm going to be charging the Bluetooth on my helmet because I can't really charge that while I'm using it. My phone and anything else, I'll kind of charge on the bike throughout the day. I just have stuff in my tank bag that's always charging. Whoa, getting a lot of questions here. Wow. Okay. You think I'm going to make it east this trip? Yes. So basically my plan is right now I'm in Portland currently, heading north to Seattle. And from Seattle, I'm spending about a month getting to Montana for the end of July. Pretty much the month of August I'm spending getting to Maine to hit Acadia National Park. And then as fall sets in, I'll just be working my way down the East Coast. Strom, where are you now? I am currently in Portland. I'm at a friend's house. Can you stop an Olympic and repack my panniers? I have overpacking syndrome. Yeah, me too. I have been slowly shedding weight on this whole trip. Michael, Escondido is a beautiful area. I like it up there. When will I be going to Acadia? It's looking like probably end of August, beginning of September. Right around when the leaves start changing is the plan anyway. Enjoying your adventures. What are some of the biggest challenges I faced on this trip? Definitely schedule. In the first 2 months, I had a pretty action-packed schedule, so it's been quite a challenge to keep up with that and trying to meet people and line up like dates and times to meet them and fitting everything in. And a lot of it was stuff I had already seen, so I didn't mind streaming. I didn't mind kind of skimming through some of the stuff I had already seen. So the problem is I'm finding myself now in some places I haven't spent time and I'm kind of rushing through them to get to certain places. So that's been a challenge, which will change next month. Definitely going to be in the Tennessee area to hit the Great Smoky Mountains, so I will let you know. Niagara Falls is pretty cool, and that should be a pretty great trip. I don't know if you're taking the Blue Ridge Parkway, but that's a great road if you're on pavement. And if you're on dirt, if you're into that kind of thing, the Mid-Atlantic BDR might be worth checking out. Yeah, the leaves do change later in September. I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time in like New England, the New England area, because I have family there, and in New York also. So I'm going to be there like for the month of September. How many times have I had to deal with flat tires? Gary, great question. On this trip, none yet. Let's hope it stays that way for a while. In other trips, a handful of times, probably a half dozen flat tires. It's usually fairly easy if you have tubeless tires to just plug it and keep going. However, I have been in situations where the tire gets cut and you can't plug it. So it happens. What's the scariest moment I've had on a trip? Probably in Barstow, one of the worst hotels I ever stayed at. I was terrified all night, and I couldn't fit my bike in the hotel room, although I wanted to. And I basically stayed up all night listening to the chaos ensuing around me. And that was the scariest situation on a motorcycle trip, believe it or not. Hey, Tim, are you using any kind of mail forwarding service on this adventure? I am. I can't even remember the name of it because I'm not really actually using it, but I am signed up for it. I don't get any mail. Everything's electronic these days. Hey, Tim, are you planning on riding any sections of the backcountry discovery routes? Yes, John, I am. I've done little bits and pieces of Utah and the Southern California one. I'm heading north from here. I'm going to do a little bit of Washington, hoping to do all of the Idaho backcountry discovery route, and also the Mid-Atlantic. The problem is for a lot of these, I'm alone and on a very overloaded bike, so I'm hesitant to do some of the real gnarly stuff, but I do have somebody meeting me for the Idaho one, so I'm looking forward to that. Take 202 in Maine, beautiful ride. Route 6 in Pennsylvania. I will definitely keep that in mind. Are you following the storm through the Tennessee Valley area? I'm not familiar with that. Indiana. Yes, I will definitely be passing through that area. Do I have any concerns with bears as I'm camping? No, not really. I'm pretty careful with my food. I don't eat in my tent. I don't leave food scraps all over the place. So I don't have a huge concern with that. I think people are more often running into problems with bears when they're out hiking around and surprising a bear. I just kind of keep my campsite clean and tidy and assume that they don't really want to mess with me. I'd be more concerned with like smaller animals, like raccoons that get into all kinds of stuff. Hello from Full Throttle Power Sports. How you doing? Thanks for the answer. Thanks, Blair. Yeah, so I've actually never ridden up Mount Washington, so I'm looking forward to getting that This Bike Survived Mount Washington sticker. Bears are scary. I'll give you that. I saw one the other day, and he was actually more terrified of me than I was of him. I was on the bike coming around a blank corner. There was a little bear there, and he saw me and just bolted like instantly. So I think that's something to keep in mind, is that more often than not, these animals are more scared of us than we are of them, and they don't really want anything to do with us. Bill, great question. Do you find you are successfully trimming your weight on the bike as you go? As much as possible. Unfortunately, I was pretty streamlined to begin with, so it's kind of tricky. There isn't much I'm carrying that I don't need, although maybe I had like one extra pair of underwear and socks that I could get rid of. There wasn't a ton of stuff to really shed weight, unfortunately. I'm finding little things here and there that just aren't necessary, but I'm not making big strides with shedding weight. I'm planning on maybe switching out my tent. That would maybe gain me about 2 pounds, but you're talking about a lot of money to shed 2 pounds, and yeah, So it's hard to trim weight. I think more so I'm concerned with the bulk. The weight of the bike feels great even off-road. The bulk is that I have my dry bag full of all my camping stuff. I have a big dry bag with my sleeping bag in it, and then I have a separate third dry bag with food and food-related items. So every day I'm strapping those 3 bags to the bike. I'd like to simplify that process. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan is beautiful. I agree, it is beautiful. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make it up there this year because I'm planning on maybe cutting south before I get to the UP and heading towards maybe the like Milwaukee to check out the Harley-Davidson factory. Bob asks, how do I make sure I don't run out of gas? It's a great question. And the answer to that is I try not to pass a gas station with less than a half a tank. The range on my bike is about 220 miles. So you won't see stretches more than like 100. So if you're at a half tank, you should fill up because you might be at a stretch of 100 miles. I haven't seen much further than I think the longest stretch without gas was 130 miles in Texas. So you should definitely keep that in mind. And if you're on a smaller bike with a shorter range, you might want to carry extra fuel. I have an extra 2-liter container just in case. Beartooth Highway is one of my favorite roads. I am definitely planning on riding that. I've done it. I did it once a few years ago, and yeah, that was a great, great road. What app do I use to plan gas station pit stops? I don't actually use an app for that. I just kind of go where I'm going, and usually, at least in the United States, when there's going to be a big gap with no gas, there's signs to let you know that it's 100 miles to the next gas station. Let's see. Tunnel of Trees, where is that, Richard? I've seen a few places that could be called that, but if there's a place actually named that, I'd like to find that. How much time do you spend in new locations? Do you feel you rush yourself? That's a great question. I wouldn't say that I feel rushed. I do move with purpose, and I try to be efficient throughout the day to fit a lot in. But if I feel like I need an extra day somewhere, I pretty much take that extra day. I may have to kind of skim through something else later to get some of that time back. Unfortunately, there are certain deadlines I have to make it to, and rallies I'm going to, and people I'm trying to meet with. So it's a challenge to just completely let go and not worry about time or any of that. Onyx AZ Adventures, what's up, buddy? Do I use a GPS or my phone for navigation? William, that's an awesome question. I actually use both. If you've seen my videos recently, I have my phone and the GPS. GPS is basically, it's for when my phone doesn't work, when I don't have cell service. It's not super easy to use. It's kind of a pain. But the other thing I like it for is that it shows me the speed limit for wherever I am. So it's a nice way to make sure that I'm not speeding too much. And the other thing I like too is just like, it gives me altitude, so I know how high up I am, which is really just a matter of, it's like a curiosity thing. I like to know where I'm at in elevation. The phone's just easier to use for navigating because typically it's like I'll get on my phone and maybe find a restaurant or a campsite, something I want to check out specifically. It's easier to just hit that button. Google Maps turns on. I have it set to avoid highways, and that's about it. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Yeah, I highly recommend get as much time on the road as you can manage. It's totally worth it. St. Joseph's Highway. I'll be sure to check that out. I don't think I've seen that. MFM, that Kelty TN2 tent is amazing. I was just talking about that a few minutes ago. I have had that tent for about 4 years, and I've just used the heck out of that thing, and it's still kicking. I have no leaks, no problems with the zippers, nothing. The Nav 4 or the Nav 6. I believe it's the Nav 6, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I bought it a few years ago. Love the cube system for packing stuff. Great for camping trips and day trips. Thank you. Thanks, Grant. That took me a long time to learn, and that was a game changer for me. I used to just have stuff just stuffed in there, and those packing cubes are great. Do I have a t-shirt store? Yes, the t-shirt store is teespring.com/40 times around, or /store/40 times around. What's the worst highway you've ever experienced in regards to condition of the street? Oh, I've been on some pretty rough roads. In terms of paved roads, wow, yeah, there's been quite a few of them. Mount Evans at the very, very top, that gets pretty rough up there, and that is technically paved. There's sections of it that might as well be called a gravel road. What do I use to edit my videos? That's a great question that I get very, very often. I use Adobe Premiere to edit all my videos. So yeah, I've been getting a lot of requests for a video about editing. It's something I enjoy doing, but I'm not as passionate about it as like motorcycle travel, but I guess at some point I'll probably put together an editing video. Just had a seal fail and decided to abandon the trip. Joe, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a bummer when you run into mechanical issues like that on a trip. The road to Mount Evans just went up. I think you mean they just opened it? I've been running into a lot of roads and mountain passes that are still closed this time of year, which is shocking. Tioga Pass, for example, is still closed. Or at least when I was there, it was. How are the Forma boots working out? Carl, those boots, I cannot recommend them enough. From day one, right out of the box, they're super comfortable. I've been hiking around in them a lot. They never feel like motocross boots. They just feel like regular hiking boots, but then you get that added protection, and they're definitely waterproof. I can attest to that. Been riding in a lot of rain and some water crossings and stuff. Did you say you lived in New York, where I'm between Albany and Cooperstown? Elwood Rides. I used to camp a lot near Cooperstown, actually. I lived on Long Island for about 3 years, but I'm not from there originally. Oh, and you've got a place to stay when you come east. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Northwest Jersey, Delaware Water Gap. Yeah, I used to ride around northern New Jersey. There's some pretty nice areas around there. Seven Lakes Drive, I think, isn't that New Jersey? Is the sleeping pad as good as the cot, and is the size smaller? Great question. The sleeping pad I'm using is the Comfort Plus SI from Sea to Summit. It's super comfortable. The cot is also comfortable, but it's also really heavy. In terms of bulk, they're about the same. The cot and the sleeping pad that I use, they're about the same size. The cot is a lot heavier. So something to factor in depending on what you're doing with your bike and what kind of bike you have. It's weird seeing you indoors. Yeah, it's weird being indoors. I've been sleeping outside for like a while. What part of Mass? I was from like the South Shore, Whitman, Hanson, Halifax, that area. Tunnel of Trees is just southeast of Mackinac City in Michigan. Incorporated with the UP ride in the fall. I'll have to check that out sometime. A lot of the areas I've been in lately have been like tunnels of trees. It is just like a tunnel. There's more shade than there is sunlight in there. A lot of really tall trees in this part of the country. It's really beautiful. Do you feel you're going to make it 6 months or keep it longer? So I'm feeling great. Like I was saying a little bit ago, I've been pretty busy this last month and a half, almost creeping up on 2 months now. So that's been a bit challenging, but I'm still going strong. I'm still having a blast. It's just that I haven't had a lot of downtime, and everything's kind of happened in bursts where I'll get really behind on my editing and not ready for an upload, so I'll stay and edit and deal with computer stuff and work stuff for like 48 hours straight without much sleep. And then I'll have to catch up on writing and filming. So I'll do that for 3 days. Then I'll get somewhere like San Francisco and it'll be like social stuff. And I'm not doing any work for 3 days. So it's just been a lot of that for the last month and a half. I'm looking forward to when things slow down a little bit and also let my money catch up because I'm spending a lot on fuel. But no, I think it's going to go longer than 6 months. As long as the money holds up, I don't have any intention of stopping. Oklahoma, thank you. What do you look forward to the most after coming home from a long trip? Greetings from Monroe, Washington. Well, I don't technically have a home anymore, but normally looking forward to getting home and a little couch time, a little TV, a shower. It's funny because usually, if I get home from a real big trip, 5 weeks, 2 months, something like that, I sit around for like 2 days and I'm out riding again. I'm out taking a little day trip or something just to ease that post-trip depression. So it's funny, like the things I look forward to when I get home, I end up enjoying for a brief time, and then I'm wanting to do what I was doing again. How do I like the BMW for traveling? I love it. It's great for me. It's not for everyone. It's expensive to maintain, but I think things last longer, and I just love it. I mean, it's a great bike for me, and it carries what I want it to carry, and it goes where I want it to go. So it's awesome. Can't complain. Climb gear holding up okay. Yes, the climb gear is holding up good. I absolutely love the pants. The jacket is good, but there are some little quirks I'm not thrilled about with it. In particular, the back collar, it kind of sags. It's a little nitpicky, I guess, but I don't like that because I shouldn't really complain about it. It's not a touring jacket. It's an off-road jacket, but I'm used to a touring jacket where the collar stays up a little higher and it keeps the back of your neck protected from the sun. This jacket doesn't do that. It sags down and it drives me crazy. But again, I really shouldn't even complain about that because it's not a touring jacket, so it shouldn't behave like one. After this trip, will you come back to Phoenix and go to Mass? So after this 6 months, William, I'm planning on actually heading to South America, and that will probably take about 1.5 years. My plan really is to travel indefinitely for hopefully about 5 years if things go according to plan. When everything's said and done, though, maybe neither, but more likely Arizona. I don't think I would live in Massachusetts again. More likely I would live in Arizona, but I mean, it's a pretty big world, so it's a lot of places I love and wouldn't mind living. From the Shoemakers. Lori, how are you? That's so cool. It's good to see you here. That is really cool. How many miles do I have on my bike so far? I just crossed over 71,000, which is it's crazy. The way I'm racking them up, I'll be at 125 by the end of this year. Hey, Rob. Hey, Kara. Let's see. I'm on a 650 Bergman. Could I follow your route? Absolutely. The route that I've been taking, pretty much anybody could do. There are some dirt roads that I wouldn't recommend for anybody on just any bike, but as long as you're on an adventure bike, yeah. And engine size and all of that. I mean, I've been off the highway, so as long as your bike will go 55, you're pretty much good everywhere. And really, you could get there just slower if your bike doesn't go 55. Alaska is in my plans, hoping for next spring before I head south for South America. Hi, Cal. And I'm jealous you're getting to do this. I wish I could travel full time. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. A lot of work to keep things going though, keep the money flowing and all of that. But it is it's pretty cool. Hey, Alcan ADV is on here. Where are you at these days? I've been really falling behind on everybody else's videos. I haven't been finding much time to watch everyone else's videos, but looks like you were having a pretty good trip. Yeah, this is a first for me too, the live stream thing. I do them with Patreon once in a while, but this is the first for me doing it on YouTube. The 850 GS looks pretty cool. How are the temperatures? Any quick tips for cold weather while camping? The temperatures on this trip in the last month and a half have been wildly varying. Just like so crazy. I was snowed in my tent on the north rim of the Grand Canyon, and 3 days later I was in Death Valley and it was 115. I mean, it was just all over the map. As far as camping in the cold, I think the big thing is stay warm, because it's easier to stay warm than it is to get warm. So don't let yourself get cold. Just bundle up before that happens. How much of my own maintenance do I do? Pretty much all of it. What won't I do? It's not that I won't do it, but when it's time for the valves to be checked, I just bring that to a shop. Partially because I just don't want to be bothered with it, but also it's a good opportunity to let someone else just take a second look at it and give me a second opinion and make sure that I'm not missing anything. Sometimes you get too used to seeing your own bike and you don't recognize when something's out of place, if that makes sense. Yeah, I heard that Long Way Up is confirmed. That's pretty cool. I did enjoy those other two series. I'm not sure they would want to ride with me. Jumped in late. Do I still like the XD4? I do like the XD4, the Arai, but I have been using the Bell MX9, and I'm also happy with that. The XD4 was a lot quieter. I haven't noticed that adventure helmets are generally louder than other helmets. I think it goes more by brand. That Peak visor, that's the only thing I could see that would maybe make more wind noise. I haven't noticed an issue with any of mine. Dieselman 40. Just curious what I do for income to achieve ongoing travel. Basically, everything I do for income is built around this YouTube channel. So, yeah, it's a lot of work to keep up on. Yeah, I've heard Alaska is really time sensitive. Rand, I am going to be in that area, Rocky Mountain National Park, first week of August. Looking forward to it. We should definitely meet up, maybe have lunch in Estes Park. Do you work on any jobs along the way for cash? Elwood Rides, great question. I haven't had to yet, but if anybody has some side work they want to give me as I'm traveling around, I can paint, I can clean things, I can fix things. So yeah, let me know. Could always use a little extra money. Hey, Tim from Arizona. Hey, Lance. Appreciate that. What happened to the EXO AT950? Great question. Well, I think I just found that it ended up being a little too heavy for me. It started to hurt my neck after a while, which was a real shame because other than that, I love that helmet. It's just so versatile. It's like the Swiss Army knife of helmets. Jeff, greetings from New Jersey. Really enjoying your trip. Great job on the videos. Ride safe. Thanks, Jeff. You too. Ride safe. Alcan ADV, you're going to have to show me around when I get up there to Alaska. Sturgis, yeah, but probably after bike week. I'm not a huge fan of big crowds, so I try to stay away from that kind of stuff, but I do like Sturgis the week after the rally. You get half price shirts, half the crowds, and all of the great scenery. Tall man, am I happy? Yes, happiest I have ever been. Life on the road really suits me. I know I don't have any kids. New Orleans will be maybe December-ish, November, December. I'm planning on shooting for Florida right around November, probably. So be heading west from there. Rob, I didn't get a chance to do as much exploring as I would have liked in Bend. I just kind of breezed through it, unfortunately. I wish I had had more time, but I am going to go back through there on my way to Alaska next year and plan on just spending a couple days because it definitely would require that. Am I in Canada? Nope, still in the US. Planning on staying in the lower 48 for the next few months. How many cameras do I use? Also, how do I pick my destinations? Both great questions. Cameras, I have 2 GoPros, and I am using my cell phone to do a lot of filming too. I ended up selling the Canon M50 I was using to help pay for a little bit of this trip and also simplify my packing. I figured, the stuff I was doing, I didn't want to risk breaking it. It was just easier for me to simplify, not carry an expensive camera like that. Because the 2 GoPros that I have, they shoot excellent video, and the phone does the rest of it. And how do I pick my destinations? So this trip was kind of designed around hitting all of the national parks. That kind of gave me like my point A to point B to point C to point D. Everything in between, I just kind of wing. And I found that just being in the general area, just in the vicinity of a national park, it puts me in the right area, puts me in the areas I want to be. So it's been working out. Thanks, Silver SS. Leaving from Canada, Idaho on my first camping trip. Awesome. That should be a great trip. We might cross paths depending on when you're going down there. I'm going to be in Idaho in a few weeks. Ed, Twisted Sisters. Yes, definitely. I had to skip that at the beginning of the trip because I was just having too much fun in Big Bend. I decided I would hit Twisted Sisters on my way back around when I come through in the winter. Yeah, Keith, Big Bend is phenomenal. I really, really love that place. I had a lot of fun there. Elwood Rides. I do have a schedule, and I have been pretty consistently 3 days behind this whole trip. It's really a pretty loose schedule, and I have quite a bit of a cushion, so that 3 days doesn't really matter. I had a couple certain dates I needed to be places like Seattle for the Touratech rally. And other than that, it's been just trying to land in certain places on the weekends, like being in the Bay Area for the weekend so that I could catch people when they weren't working Monday through Friday, and the same thing in Portland. Now next weekend I got to be up in Seattle. Ben, the XD4, that helmet, I would say is definitely a few notches higher than most other helmets that I have tried personally. If you're considering it and it's in your budget, it's an excellent, excellent helmet. See you, Crazy Crossno 76. Thanks for stopping by. How did I get to 30,000 subscribers? I just kept making videos. I don't know. It blows me away, to be honest with you. What's been your favorite place? Travel so far. Favorite national park? Oh, that is such a tough question. Big Bend is up there. Big Bend, Kings Canyon. I just recently went to Crater Lake. That was pretty phenomenal, although it was kind of like I breezed through it. But that lake is so blue. I've never seen a blue quite like that. It's just so stunning. So that was pretty cool to see. Tall man, do I get paid by number of subscribers or number of videos viewed, or a mixture of both? It doesn't have anything to do with subscribers. It's watch time. Camera helmet setup. Yeah, I do need to put that together soon. I've been getting a lot of requests for that, and I am going to put that together in the next couple of weeks. How often do I have a companion? Have I had people recognize me and ride with me for a bit? I have friends come and meet me once in a while. I meet up with people when I can. Other than Bob meeting me and riding with me for a few days, no, I haven't had anybody ride with me for more than like a day at a time. Grant Whipple, the audio from my helmet with a GoPro is essentially a lavalier mic with a mic adapter. I'm going to do a video on that very soon, though. Scrambler North Crater is definitely rad. That is an awesome park. I couldn't believe how high the snowbanks still were. Arturo, greetings from Georgia. My dream bike, I'm on it. That's my dream bike. I absolutely love it. It's definitely not for everyone, but I love the R1200 GS. Although now that the 1250 is out, of course, that's kind of in the back of my mind. Top 10 bikes, in my opinion, that's a tough one. How about 3? The GS, the let's say the Ducati Scrambler, those are pretty sweet, and the Triumph, what is it? The Thruxton. The Triumph Thruxton's pretty sweet. Hey, Kevin, thank you. Appreciate that. Where do you think I'll be? In early September. I'm going to be in New England area. You missed an offer for MREs up there. I'm missing a lot of comments. They're just kind of flying by. Same question, where does the name 40 times around come from? I have a video that explains that pretty thoroughly, called what is it? It's called Where Did the Name 40 Times Around Come From? On my channel, you can find it. 40 times around, basically, it means 1,000,000 miles. It's a goal, something I'm trying to achieve. 40 times around the equator is 1,000,000 miles. Hey, Beaver Puncher, good to see you on here. It's a great name, by the way. Black Gap Road at Big Bend. I didn't get to do any off-roading when I was in Big Bend, unfortunately. It was too much mud. Do you hear Yanni or Laurel? I don't know what that means, Dimitri. Have you had to replace any equipment that is broken or not repairable? On this trip specifically, not yet, although one of my cases, my side case, the latch is busted, so I got to get that fixed at some point. I have it just fastened closed with a little strap. It's kind of a pain to get into it every time I need something. But other than that, no, nothing really. Any plans of coming through eastern Iowa? I might be in that general vicinity sometime in August, mid-August. Do you just camp on the side of the road, off in the woods, if all the campsites are full? Ben, that's a great question. I typically stay away from any kind of like organized campground where there would be people and where it being full would be an issue. So mostly I'm in dispersed camping areas where I have quite a bit of land to myself, or sometimes I get myself into a pinch and there's nowhere to sleep. I have to just pull over in a ditch and lay down next to the bike. That does happen. Or even just lay down on a picnic table if that's an option. Am I using stock cases? No, they're the Touratech Zega Pro panniers. Use some Suver on the latch. I don't think that would help. It's the whole, like the rod that the latch grabs over like a rod. The rod busted and it's gone, nowhere to be found. It's probably in New Mexico somewhere. So yeah, they're not the stock cases. Yeah, it was starting to go before I left, and just the daily use of opening and closing it, it gave out pretty quick. Hello from Southern California. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. How are you? I didn't realize you were from Arizona until you were leaving. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, Arizona. I was living there for about 4 or 5 years. Pretty cool. Have I ever been to London? I have been to London, not on a motorcycle though. And that was quite a while ago. William, great question. I'm a big fan of tubeless tires, but I think there are some people that would maybe disagree with that and say that being able to patch a tire is more effective in some situations than just being able to plug one. I think the big thing is that whether you have tube or tubeless, just know how to repair it. Know how to take the tire off and patch a tube if that's what you have. I'm a little uncomfortable with tube type tires because I think when they go really quick. When it goes flat, it's not usually a slow leak. Chester J, thank you. I'm hoping to be in Calgary sometime next year. I'm on my way back down from Alaska, so would love to meet up and take a ride. Is my name Kevin? Nope, my name is not Kevin. That's a interesting question, though. Am I heading to Virginia, Scott? Yes, I will be in Virginia probably in October. Going to the Sun Road just opened. That is great news because I'm going to be there in a couple weeks. That is a phenomenal ride. Absolutely beautiful. I seem like a Kevin. Nope, my name's not Kevin. You have no idea how to change a tire. Well, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that can teach you. I would just suggest that you learn at home in your garage and not on the side of the road in a situation that's going to be a little more intense. Take your time, take the tire off. If you're looking for tire irons, I would recommend the bead breakers from Motion Pro, I think they're called. One side of them is tire irons, the other side is a bead breaker. Basically, it's shaped kind of like that. You slip it into between the tire and the rim, and you pull them apart, and it pops the bead. So they're pretty good tire irons. It's on the shelves behind you. I don't know. I'm at a friend's house. How much off-roading have I gotten to do since I left? Kind of have to take it easy on the bike with that many miles to go. Yeah, I've done a fair bit of off-road riding. If I can find routes to get me from A to B that's dirt or gravel, I lean towards taking that. It is tricky because, yeah, like you said, a lot of miles to go, and I don't want to break anything. I don't want to do any damage, but I get as much off-roading as I can. How much water do I carry on the bike? I have a 2-liter Nalgene strapped underneath basically where I sit. It's right down by my leg. That I fill up with ice water, and that's basically my drinking water. And then on the back, I have 2 1-liter bottles. That's my cooking and camping water, washing up water. Have you had a favorite ride so far that was outstanding? There's been a number of them. I think one on this trip that totally caught me off guard was this. It was a recreational area called Rainbow Basin in California. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was a pretty short ride. It's pretty rugged terrain. It's like 4-wheel drive only, but it goes through this really colorful canyon, and it's pretty neat. Donald, you're going to love that road. I think you're talking about going to the Sun Road. That was one of my favorite roads from my trip a few years ago. What if I needed a replacement part and the nearest BMW dealership is a zillion miles away? That's a great question, and something I've been considering quite a bit as I approach maybe in the next 6 months heading into Central and South America. My answer to that, if the nearest BMW shop is a zillion miles away, is I'm going to find a beach and I'm going to hang out and wait for the part to show up. Elwood rides. I agree. Tubeless is the way to go if you have the choice. Being able to just pull a nail out and throw a plug in it is priceless. Linda, riding on a 155cc scooter next year, what would be the #1 tip? Pack light. That would be my #1 tip, but also, I mean, that's going to be a blast. You're going to have so much fun doing that. You're probably going to meet so many people. Everyone's going to want to talk to you about that, and I think you're doing it right. I think you're going to meet a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to be really nice to you. No, I disagree. I think riding a scooter is a great idea. What happens if I get sick? Well, I haven't yet. When I feel something starting to come on, I start taking vitamins or just drinking a lot of water. Just try to like kick it in the butt right away. If I did happen to get sick, I might be stuck in my tent for a while. Beaver Puncher, great question. What's the one meal I treat myself to once in a while? Probably a steak. Probably something with a lot of protein. I eat a lot of pasta when I'm camping. Am I cutting through British Columbia on my way to Calgary? So on my way to Calgary, that'll be next year. I'm hoping to get into Alaska next spring. When I'm done with the lower 48 loop, I'll shoot up to Alaska and then be heading south from there. So yes, I would be going through British Columbia to get there. What do I... Ben asked, what do I do for food most days? So I was given quite a few camping meals, dehydrated camping meals as gifts before I left home. So I kind of space those out. Every couple of nights I'll eat one of those. I do eat a lot of pasta because it's cheap. Spaghetti and sauce, really easy to make in the jet boil. Macaroni and cheese, tuna fish casserole, things like that. Things that are easy to cook and easier to clean up. Michael asks, when you pull a nail and plug it, do you replace ASAP or do I keep using that tire? It depends. It depends on the situation, and it depends where the puncture is on the tire, what part of the tread it's in, where the tire is in its lifespan. If it's getting close anyway, I just replace it. That's a tough one. It's kind of circumstantial. Tall man, is it true BMW repairs cost more than other bikes? Yeah, I think that's pretty true. Daniel, hi Tim, looks like many people want to ride with you. Try to join your journey. Are you considering capitalizing that and offering side-by-side camping travels for novices? I've definitely kicked that idea around. That's something to think about. It's pretty interesting. I mean, I had originally at some point, maybe a few years ago, thought that I would like to be a tour guide of sorts, but more of a more exclusive, like one-on-one kind of tours. I don't want to deal with big, large groups of personalities. Reese says, Going to Sun was closed yesterday, so if you guys are planning on heading that way, apparently that's still closed. Arturo, how's your back? Do you have any morning routine stretches that help you ride longer? Yes, I do a little bit of yoga, sort of, not in a structured way. I'm just familiar with a few of the poses. So when I'm in my tent, as I'm getting up in the morning, I do kind of stretch my back out, you know, pull my knees up to my chest and roll around on my back and that kind of thing. My back has been fine. not spending a ton of time on the bike, probably 8 hours a day, but not like 15 like I'm used to. Have I ever traveled to Jedi Canyon in the Mojave Desert? I haven't traveled through there, and I don't know about the camping situation in that area. If they're doing military stuff out there, you probably can't or don't want to be camping out there. Chris Kirk asked, have I lost weight since I've been on the road, or am I able to maintain? I have lost a bit of weight. I think it's more apparent in my cheeks. Yeah, it's tough to really keep up on the calories because I just stay so active throughout the day, and also just being on a budget. I'm not able to eat enough to really maintain that. Looking forward to slowing down a little bit and maybe catching up on that. Thanks, Bob. I'm going to hold you to that steak dinner. Scott, hygiene tips. I got a couple, I guess. Do your laundry often. Don't carry around a lot of dirty clothes. 3 pairs of socks, 4 pairs of socks tops, because you don't want 3-day-old pair of socks stinking up your cases. So just don't pack a lot of clothes and wash them frequently. And any chance you get to take a river bath, jump on that opportunity if you're camping and not having access to showers. Just rinse off whenever you can. Have I had any interesting animals invade my campsites on this trip? Robert, the other night I was in my tent. There were a ton of mosquitoes out, so I was like hiding out in my tent. I didn't want to get out of it. I heard something pretty big moving around outside my tent. Normally I would freak out and try to figure out what it was and try to scare it away. I never did actually find out what it was. I just went to sleep. So thanks, Tall Man. Thanks for stopping by. Jetboil compared to Pocket Rocket. Gotta be honest, I'm really enjoying the Jetboil. I love the fast boil time, and it's just so convenient. I'll bust that thing out on the side of the road and just make some coffee, or make something for lunch. Like I'll make like a hot meal for lunch. It's so convenient. So I would say the Jetboil. Carl suggesting that I maybe consider a cookbook for the Jetboil for motorcycle camping. That's a great idea, and I am definitely trying to get more creative with that kind of stuff. So it's a good idea. When are my stickers going to be back in stock? Todd, the issue with that, there is no company right now that's drop shipping those that are high enough quality that I would be willing to sell them to you. So unfortunately, the only way for me to get stickers that are UV protected, something you can put on your bike that's going to hold up to the weather, the rain, the sun, is if I order them in bulk and then ship them out individually. That's just a little too much for me to do on the road. However, if you're in the lower 48 and we cross paths, I do have stickers with me, so I'll just give you some. And if you want to tell me where you're at and I'm going to be in your area, we can line something up. Let's see here. Beaver Puncher says, do I see drastic driving characteristics of cagers in different areas of the country since I've been on the road for a while now? Yes. I have to keep adjusting every time I get into an urban area. San Francisco in particular was kind of real heavy on the traffic. For the most part in California, they're very motorcycle aware there because of the lane splitting, so they kind of get out of your way. But I think there's some people there that really don't like motorcyclists, because I had somebody try to run me off the road, and that was pretty ugly. What is the website for buying shirts and stickers? So the stickers, they're not really the kind of stickers you would want to put on your bike. Those I'm not currently selling. The t-shirts, it's teespring.com/stores/40 times around. Can I cook on a pan with the Jetboil? Yes, there's a little pot adapter. What I like about the Jetboil too is everything fits inside of the container. So it's a little ring and these little arms that kind of pop out. I'll do a video on it soon to show you guys. And you can throw a frying pan right on it. You can make bacon on a Jetboil if you want. Best tips for keeping hands dry while riding in the rain. I've heard of people wearing rubber gloves underneath their riding gloves. For me, I just kind of press on. I don't really think about that too much. Do I meet strangers pretty easy, or do I keep to myself? Typically, before this particular trip, I would keep more to myself and kind of not make eye contact with people so that they don't approach me and start asking me questions about my bike. On this trip, I've been far more open to meeting people and really embracing that aspect of traveling, meeting a lot of new people, both from the channel and just in general, just random people coming up to me and making friends with me. Arizona has the worst drivers. Yeah, Phoenix in particular has the worst drivers. I agree. And that's like everywhere in the lower 48 that I've been in on a motorcycle, Arizona's the worst. More like, can you cook a steak with the Jetboil with a pan? I haven't tried, but yeah, I would assume you can. I've made a few things in the frying pan, so I would assume you can make a steak. I'll have to do a demonstration of that. Thanks for stopping by, Robert. Glad you're enjoying my videos. Have I ever been really freaked out in the woods by myself? Yeah, quite a bit. In the beginning, when I started solo camping, I was very, very uncomfortable with it. But I knew logically that there wasn't really anything to be afraid of, so I just consciously pushed through that fear because I knew that that would be liberating, that being able to sleep anywhere, that would be pretty freeing and give me a lot more options. Raul is asking, where do I update my whereabouts? I've been kind of using the Facebook closed group for that, the Facebook community page, to schedule meetups and things like that and let people know where I'm at. I'm also doing more up-to-date updates on Patreon. Planning any new ink, Scott? Yeah, I mean, of course. Won't be done until I'm completely covered. Just not in the budget right now, unfortunately. Ed, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm happy to hear that you're satisfied with the t-shirts. Arturo, top 3 apps for riding lately. I was trying to use Rever. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I did enjoy it, but it got frustrating when it would stop tracking me and like a day would go by where it didn't track, so I stopped using that. Other than that, I really use Google Maps, freecampsites.net, and that's probably it, really. Alcan, that's a pretty cool idea. I like that. Derek, hey man, hi. Would I consider myself an introvert or an extrovert? Definitely an introvert. I'm not a very social person. I have a lot of anxiety, actually. A lot of social anxiety, and it takes a lot of energy for me to push through that. California is pretty bad with the drivers, but it's not as bad as Phoenix. Something about Phoenix, just distracted drivers and I don't know, something about the heat maybe. Makes people not really think straight and makes everybody cranky. How do I control my cameras while on the move? I just kind of stop and turn them on and off, set them up, and then ride for a little bit and pull over and stop them again. I don't use a remote or anything for the GoPros. in Canada. Hi, Sock Monkey. Glad to have you here. Am I carrying bear spray? What do I do for protection while on the road? Another great question. I'm not currently carrying bear spray. That is probably the most I would go in terms of carrying a weapon or some form of defense. And I am probably going to invest in some bear spray. I'm getting into some areas where they're a little more densely populated with bear. So yeah, I'm probably going to start carrying bear spray. I don't currently though. I wouldn't really go much further than that. I think that's probably the most effective form of protection. How do I charge everything while on the road? I kind of answered this earlier. I have a power bank for the campsite that I charge my Bluetooth on my helmet with. That way it's charged in the morning when I get going. And then I charge my phone and everything else on the bike as I'm riding. So when I get to camp, it's full. If I use it overnight and then drain the battery, I just charge it up again in the morning. Premium gas. Mark, do I run only the best premium gas in the BMW? My bike does not like anything less than 91. It tends to ping, but unfortunately that's not always available. Even in the United States, you'll run into places where they just don't have that. So I do carry around little tubes of octane boost, and that seems to help. Do I find it hard to camp anywhere? How often do I have to use paid campsites? I'm pretty resistant to paying for a campsite. It's just, I think the prices for some of the campsites have just gotten outrageous. I mean, $30 to just lay on the ground. It's a little much, and it just doesn't sit right with me. So I'm pretty adamant about finding free camping. If I'm paying for a place to sleep, it's probably going to be indoors. I definitely do run into some issues, and I've had to camp in some pretty weird places that I probably shouldn't have been camping. William, thanks for stopping by, and thanks for checking out those t-shirts. Adventures with NIMBY. The stickers I got from your site held up well on my helmet and top box. Rain, snow, etc. No issues. I'm really happy to hear that, because that's important to me, that those stickers last, because I'm a big fan of putting stickers on my bike, and I know how frustrating it is to get like a cool looking sticker that isn't waterproof or isn't UV protected, and yeah, they just get destroyed. Kendall, I can totally relate to you. Thank you, Dean. LD. Ed, I'm not sure I'm familiar with that brand of socks, shorts, etc. I just use regular cotton motocross socks. Mark asked me what's my playlist while riding. I have several depending on my mood and my energy levels. I kind of use music as a tool to affect my energy and my focus. It might sound a little weird, but for example, if I'm getting a little tired, I'll listen to something with a higher BPM, beats per minute. Maybe if I'm feeling stressed out, I'll listen to something a little more chill. It's pretty wild. I have a very eclectic taste in music. That's a great question. If I'm introverted, why is it so easy for me to make videos for everyone to see? The truth is, it's not easy. This has been a huge challenge for me and a huge hurdle. I actually made videos for like 3 months and never posted them. And I mean, I was really trying. I was making multiple videos every week, editing them, the whole thing, and then just deleting them, because I was just really struggling to get comfortable on camera. And even still, if you look at some of my old videos, you can tell how nervous I am. You know, I had to use a teleprompter for a while. That's why in a lot of my older videos, you see me wearing sunglasses, because, you know, I had a point I wanted to make, but I would get so nervous I couldn't keep my ideas straight. So I had a little teleprompter with notes on it that I was reading. So it might look easy, but it's definitely not. But I think it's rewarding, and I think as I meet more and more people through this YouTube channel, it's getting easier and easier, because I realize the value in putting myself out there and meeting new people. Getting a lot of comments here. Can't really keep up with all of this. Pat Tufts, thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely going to put something together on the rally. Do I wear earplugs while riding during the day? Sometimes I do. I need to be better about that because I'm probably doing some serious damage to my hearing. Excuse me. Hey, Zach, I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by. So do I just camp anywhere I find? How do I find it? Typically in the Western United States, I look for a national forest, and you can find dispersed camping pretty easy if you go down some dirt roads. Yeah, I mean, if that's probably the easiest way. And I do try to, I've been finding it gets dark right around 9:30. So by 5 o'clock, I need to be looking at where I'm going to be sleeping, or I'm going to end up getting myself into trouble if I wait much longer than that. Rob, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you soon, bud. Went through Atlanta at rush hour. The people who I know that live there say it's the worst down there. Stay out of there if you can. I think I think everybody thinks they live around the worst drivers. I kind of sense that, but Phoenix is pretty bad. Happy with where I am with my budget. Any unexpected expenses? Good question, Scott. For the most part, nothing unexpected. I'm spending more in fuel in these first few months than I was anticipating. But after next weekend, my schedule lightens up quite a bit, so I can slow down, not spend so much on fuel because I won't be riding so much, and it'll kind of even out, and I'll let the money kind of catch up. Fuel right now is by far my biggest expense. Do I specifically look for free campsites? Yes, I definitely do. I don't like paying for campsites. Do I camp wherever I find a spot? No, I'm pretty picky about it. I'll go pretty far off the beaten path to make sure that no one's going to find me where I'm sleeping. And has anyone ever bothered you? No, never. Don Armstrong, do I use merino wool? No, I don't actually. My base layer that I use when it's really cold is it's a synthetic material, but merino wool is great too. Kendall, I didn't know that app would help you find BLM camping. I think I have that app on my phone. I'm gonna have to check that out. Kendall is saying REI National Parks app is good for finding BLM camping. That's definitely good to know. Anthony, what year was I at MMI? 2014 to 15. And where am I originally from? Massachusetts. What inspired me to make videos? I wanted to find a way to travel around the world and share that with other people, and that's why. Scott, I will see you in Virginia. Sounds like a plan. Dual Sport West WV, I think that's West Virginia. Wow. I start reading something and then it just like gets bumped. Beaver Puncher, take care, bud. Thanks for stopping by. Rand, sounds like a plan. I love Estes Park, so we'll definitely meet up there. Time do I typically get on the road each day? Linda, great question. To be honest with you, I push it pretty late at the end of the day. I ride as late as I can, and when I get to camp, I cook, make dinner, do a little bit of work. So it's like go, go, go. My relaxing time is more in the morning. So what'll happen is I'll wake up at camp pretty early. I wake up with the sun at camp, but I'll just chill out. I'll just relax. I'll enjoy the campsite. I'll enjoy where I am. I just find that it's hard for me to slow down at the end of the day and relax because I'm just like, I have a lot of momentum by the time I get to my campsite. So I really take advantage of waking up in the morning and being still for a while, not being in motion. Daniel, that's a cool idea. I like that. Thanks, Wild One Adventures. I hope I run into you this year. I think we will. I'm going to be in your area a couple months. Timothy Renfro, biggest aggravation this ride so far. Oh, well, yeah, okay, I got one. I got a good one. It's just that I haven't had to deal with it in about a week. The mosquitoes and the flies in California this year are out of control up in the mountains. I guess it has to do with the snow melt or something. It's still damp and humid up there in the mountains. I've been in some campsites where, I mean, it doesn't matter that it's 105 and humid. I'm completely covered. None of my skin is exposed. Long sleeves on, my scarf, my hat, everything just to keep the bugs off. That's been the biggest aggravation. Thanks, Kevin. Ride safe. See you soon. Thanks, Alcan ADV. Hope we do cross paths in a couple of weeks. I think we're going to be in the same area. Hey, Jess. It's cool to see you here too. Yeah, I was a little nervous about the live stream, but I decided to push through it. Hope you had a good time in Kings Canyon. What about Bob? Bob is off doing his own thing right now. He's probably on here somewhere. He's probably in the comments. Bob, you out there? I do my own maintenance. Yep. Didn't realize you were originally from Mass. Me too. Franklin. What town did I live in? Linda, I was in like the South Shore, Whitman, Hanson, Halifax, all that. I moved around quite a bit. Hope to see you next time you're in Texas. Ed, I hope so. It's going to be next winter. I should be down there, or this winter rather. Next bike, will it be a BMW or will I look at the KTMs? KTMs make great bikes. I'm not so brand loyal that I would only ever buy a BMW. I have a few other bikes I'd like to see in my garage someday. I think I just listed a few of them, but like the Triumph Thruxton, like a Ducati Scrambler, things like that. I would definitely consider a KTM, maybe a Super Duke. Those look pretty sweet. It's BMW easy to maintain. I have a Yamaha FJR and it's simple to maintain and save money and do the work. But liking the GS. Yeah, I think a lot of people are mystified by the BMW because of all the computers and all of that and the sensors and whatnot. But the reality is you're not really maintaining those things. Maintenance on a bike is all mechanical. Oil, fluids, brakes, that kind of thing. It's the same on any bike, really. It's nothing to be intimidated or mystified by. BMWs are just as easy as anything else. What about ticks? I haven't really seen any ticks in the areas I've been in so far. I'm not sure if they're more in, I know when I was growing up in Massachusetts, ticks were everywhere. I haven't seen any out here in the West. What's the temp in the morning in the mountains? Do I need to bring cold gear in July? The temps in the mountains ranges pretty wildly. Like I was saying earlier, I've seen temps from being snowed in my tent to 110, 115 in Death Valley. Yeah, if you're traveling on a motorcycle, you always need to bring cold gear. You never know. I've seen snow in July in the Rockies. FJR is my next ride. Those are sweet bikes too. Will I be in Canada this year? Not this year, next year. I'm planning on shooting up to Alaska next spring, so I will be passing through Western Canada. Yeah, the ticks are no joke. You definitely want to watch out for that. Anyways, I think gone a little bit over. I was only going to do an hour here. This was a lot of fun. That was a quick hour. Thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out. A lot of great questions. What is my one luxury item? Okay, last question. What is my one luxury item? Probably my portable espresso maker from Wakeiko. Absolutely love that thing. Makes delicious coffee. Gotta run. Look forward to being up with you. It's a Coke. Not sponsored, but I also don't drink. All right. Wow. Surprised how many people showed up here. This was pretty cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys all for showing up and hanging out. I didn't get any trolls. That's great. All that fear for nothing. Anyways, thank you guys all for hanging out. This was a blast. I'm going to try to do this again when I have Wi-Fi, which is pretty hard to predict. So unfortunately, I don't really get a chance to schedule these too far out because I never know when I'm going to have Wi-Fi or even cell phone service. Yeah, I definitely had fun doing this, and it seems like you guys did too. So definitely going to do more of these in the future as I can. This was pretty cool. Anyways, yeah, getting a lot of goodbyes. Awesome. You guys rock. I mean, this is so awesome. Thank you guys. All right, I'm signing off. Thanks for hanging out. Ride safe, everybody. See you in the next video. Got a pretty cool one coming out on Tuesday. Another vlog. Anyways, ride safe, guys. Talk to you soon.